I rise to make my presentation on the 2024 Appropriation Bill. But first, I must welcome the gallery, those here in person, the patriots in the diaspora, and everyone listening by radio or watching on social media. My colleagues and I greatly appreciate not only your presence and your interests, but your understanding and support for the position we took in December. You elected us to stand up for you, and we will not be deterred or disrespected in our efforts to represent your best interests. I also take this opportunity to congratulate the MP for Rural West, the MP for All Saints West, and the MP for St. George on the first anniversary of the election to this Honorable House of Representatives. And I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate my brother and the MP for St. Mary's South on both his election and his historic by-election. With the veterans, the MP for Barbuda and the MP for St. Philip South, we make up the Magnificent Seven. Tonight, given the time constraints, on this historic sitting, you will not be hearing the usual response to the budget presentation by the leader of the opposition. Instead, the members will deliver a joint response that covers the most relevant points of the budget and speaks to the people's realities. So I invite you to lean in, listen, and digest as we bring to you the messages we were prevented from sharing on December 19. I have to say here that God is good.
All the time.
If we had debated this bill back in December, half of what we will speak about tonight would not have been discussed because the developments of the last 2 weeks would not even get a brief mention in the budget presentation. On December 15th, not a word was said about the sudden sale of the cancer center. Nothing to the statutory bodies about the 50% dividends from their profits and surpluses. Nothing about the repurposing of the Dunbar's lands and the NTTC Satellite Hospital. Nothing about the shutdown of LIAT on February 5th and another set of workers being put on the breadline along with the supervisors at State Insurance. Madam Speaker, the Lord loves you, UPP, because it was divine intervention that delayed our debate until tonight. Look at all we would have missed on December 19. Anyway, I will now speak to the aspects of the 2024 budget that touch the people's pain inflicted by the Ministry of Works, Housing, and related sectors. According to the Prime Minister, Antigua and Barbuda enjoys a robust construction sector that drives economic growth and employment opportunities for our citizens. He said also that based on data up to 2023, it is expected that the rate of growth in the construction sector will double to 10%. This is my first challenge tonight, Madam Speaker. As the sector doubles to 10%, how many citizens and residents will be growing with it? because the Prime Minister has told us that he will be looking to import skilled labor for the upcoming construction projects, where will that, Madam Speaker, leave the hundreds of young men who are hanging out on the corners in every single constituency without work? The Prime Minister was the Minister of Planning in a previous administration. Did he forget to plan for these young people apart from the 4 trees and 15 grams? When he received a grant of 4 million English pounds to expand Abyss 3 years ago, was he thinking of these unemployed youth? Or was he planning since then to go the easy route and simply import labor? The Minister of Works, Madam Speaker, has confessed that the construction of the 500 homes project was not the best. But, Madam Speaker, we already know that. If you can cut the wage of the workers at the national housing, how do you expect to get quality work when they are working at reduced costs? At reduced wages, sorry. Brothers and sisters, members of the gallery, I want you to understand that we are not just here to oppose for opposing's sake. The Minister of Works admitted that in terms of the finishes, the work was shoddy, and she blamed this on the workmen's lack of skills. Madam Speaker, is this going to be her justification for keeping local people out of work in 2024? Will this be her excuse when they cannot get employment on the upscale housing project on the Donbass land? National housing, Madam Speaker, 500 homes was the biggest construction project in 2023. But there, at the national housing, was very little activity in 2023. So it is clear that the Prime Minister is basing his bright outlook on 2 foreign direct investments: the Peace, Love and Happiness, the PLH project over in Barbuda, and the renovation of the Halcyon Hotel. Madam Speaker, we are talking about only 2 out of more than 30 projects that were to bring thousands of construction jobs and thousands of permanent jobs for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. The Prime Minister points out that the Jolly Beach renovations was ongoing, but up to now, and in spite of the questions put to him in Parliament, we know virtually nothing about that project. Madam Speaker, after the initial project was leaked, after the initial agreement was leaked, which was quite a sweetheart deal, all communication on the project was shut down. So we still don't know what the construction cost us, the taxpayers, in materials or in labor or in tax exemptions or reductions. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister also boasts about the expansion of the Hermitage Resort and the Nobu restaurant on Barbuda. How many local jobs did these create? Did these projects contribute any direct taxes, or did they receive the Prime Minister's usual tax concessions? He says there was so much residential and commercial construction in 2023. I don't know if you are living in the same Antigua and Barbuda today, but I'm yet to see all those construction projects, Madam Speaker. But we will continue to look. We will continue to look. After he is referring to the national housing projects, and they was to continue an investigation that has been happening for some time now We are waiting on the audited financial report of this statutory body, if indeed there are any accounts at all. We need to know how much National Housing spent in wages, on salaries, and on materials. We also need to know how much they spend on procuring heavy-duty equipment. Brothers and sisters, we cannot continue to sit by and allow this government to increase taxes on us without giving us any account of what they have spent so far. So as we continue, the taxpayers want to know why certain officials were removed and replaced from National Housing. They are entitled to this information. We want to know whether any malfeasance took place and whether there will be any prosecution for it. Brothers and sisters, members listening via social media, the general public, I am urging you, join us as we hold this government accountable for what they have spent and continue to spend. Now, the budget statement refers to continued road works and expansion of utilities infrastructure. I'm asking you, the people in the gallery, is the Prime Minister serious? Is he serious? The government spent US 20 million in grant money from England to rehab the Frizzle Road. And look at the condition of the road surface already. I don't think the British taxpayers would be satisfied to see how it is. And I know local taxpayers, they are not satisfied. They are not happy when they drive on it. Now, after the tragedy involving the AUA students on that road, the cabinet announced that the APUA would install 750 streetlights to illuminate the Frizzle Road and other highways. Madam Speaker, can you show me where these lights were installed? Madam Speaker, I'm not sure if you drive on the airport road, but I know it wasn't there. I know it wasn't Valley Road that I usually take to go to the south. I know for certain it's not there. And I know for a fact it's not in All Saints East and St. Luke. Madam Speaker, we cannot continue to do business as usual. Why is it the resurfacing of the Sydney-Walling Highway is not yet completed? When will they stop digging up the roadway and complete it? I would like the member for Rural East to tell us who is benefiting from this put down and dig up exercise that has been going on for years now. APUA as well, they are also guilty of this ridiculous practice along with Public Works. No sooner is the road resurfaced than APUA comes along to dig it back up. Then when they dig across the street, Madam Speaker, it stays there and widen into trench. And up to years later, Public Works never get around to filling it. Years ago, I can remember the UPP made it the responsibility of an officer in Ministry of Works. And I want to believe that person is the now Director of Public Works, to coordinate line repairs with road repairs. But since then, it's been back to the bad practices of those two agencies. And neither the member for Rural East nor the member for City East appears to be interested in correcting it. Maybe because they don't have to purchase shocks or repair a damaged front end like we, the people, do. In the meantime, every community except for National Housing Project is complaining about the condition of the roads, what the potholes are doing to their vehicles, or the dust is doing to their health. In every single community, including the upscale neighborhoods, where the government just increased the rate of property tax. A few days ago, I heard, Madam Speaker, somebody describe the Pigot's Main Road as a crime against humanity. The government operates quarries in both Pickett's and Bendels, and yet these two communities are bawling murder for roads. But then again, you can say the same for the people in Follies, Old Road Suites, John Hughes, All Saints, in Painters West, the people in Lightfoot, in Rural West and Rural East. Because it's months now that they're putting down a sidewalk right there on Wireless Road. So Wireless Road turned from a two-way street into a one-way street. But, Madam Speaker, it's not only these communities bawling murder. The people in Hodges Bay as well, they are bawling murder because the roads in this country, they're so horrible. I would like to suggest to the member of Rural North, because we don't only speak about the problem, we can offer solutions. So I'm saying to the member for Rural North, for St. Mary's North, with the millions of tires dumped down Cooks, see how we can use those tires and turn them into material that can help to fix the roads. Not only to fix the roads, but also to do parking lots and to create proper playing surface for young people to go and play in the various parks or basketball courts and playgrounds that we don't have yet, but they're coming because the UPP will be in office in a short time. Tell the Minister of Works that this is 2024 and the practice of dropping sugar cake into potholes need to be left in 2023. Everywhere you turn, in country or in town, the Minister of Public Works is missing in action. And not even $1 million worth of palm trees on Faisal Road can disguise that fact that she's missing. I refuse to believe that she drives anywhere or goes into St. John's at any given time. And it is shameful that this administration is boasting about its home porting success, while the infrastructure in the city, the capital city, the look and smell of it is crumbling. Madam Speaker, they're lucky, Madam Speaker, that our time is limited tonight. Because the roll call of infrastructural failures would take at least an hour. But I have to highlight a few. When you look at the $22 million wasted to convert the NTTC building into a satellite hospital, only to turn it into a post office and the headquarters for the Ministry of Agriculture. And I just learned that that may not even happen because the PS said to us that it has been delayed. Why? They never said why, but I'm going to tell you why. It has been delayed because that newly renovated building had a flood some time ago, and that too cannot be used for the purpose that they intend to use it. This country is in a serious crisis. The number of government offices and departments that are on reduced hours because of mold or poor air quality or water issues keeps increasing. So you know what happened? Full-time pay for half-time work is a waste of money and human resources. I want to touch on this one, and I have to touch on this one. And I want to say to the Minister of Works that this 2024 is going to be the year of change. It's going to be the year that they change and adjust the treatment that they give to the opposition, because the condition of the leader of the opposition office, if you didn't have asthma before, and you go to that building, you will certainly get asthma. A leaking roof, damp carpet, mold growing in the ceiling, and spreading even to the furniture. That's what's happening at the leader of the opposition office. Madam Speaker, as I continue, the number of clinics and police stations that are temporarily closed but not being repaired. CID, then Param, then Coolidge, then All Saints. Now the Bowlands police station has been evicted due to non-payment of rent. But I want to ask the member for City South,
Quiet, please.
who is next? Because everybody that rent the government cannot get
Quiet,
paid.
please. Please.
I also want him to tell us what is being done, because the rundown condition of the Knuckleback Community Center and the 4-year failure to complete the repairs on the Magistrate Court on High Street. Again, the knighted member for City South owes the people of this country an explanation and an apology as well. Do you remember the lies that they peddled when they said that the UPP started a car park and they can't finish it? It is this same administration purchased the Sunshine Hub and the government's failure to complete it, because they purchased it from the people, so it's their responsibility to complete it. That is a failure to collect desperately needed revenue in rent and parking fees and reduce the awful congestion downtown. This one, Madam Speaker, this one, the lack of maintenance at the hospital that carries the name of the Public Works Minister's own uncle. The condition is horrible, and this has resulted in untold pain for patients, delays in surgery, and unnecessary deaths. We heard weeks ago from the member of St. Mary's North that a company had been identified to undertake remedial work on the operating theaters at the hospital. Can you imagine that? No. But anyway, one of my other colleagues will speak to that. My question, as a matter of fact, how was this company selected member a knighted one for St. Mary's North? Was it by the tenders board as required by law, or it was handpicked by the minister What is the timeline for completion? And how much is it going to cost the taxpayers? Is it going to be like the IDC Center? That's the correct acronym? Yes. The IDC? Yes. Because up to date, even persons and officials within the Ministry of Works cannot tell us how much that building cost us. And it is unfair to the people of this country that you are imposing more taxes without giving accountability to the taxes you have collected before.
Honourable Member, you have 5 minutes left.
Madam Speaker, that is just the short list of infrastructure failures. But I'll move on, Madam Speaker. I must mention, though, that the government boasts that over 4,000 vehicles were imported into Antigua and Barbuda in 2023. Apart from the fact that the Prime Minister said the port can't afford to pay even the interest of the Chinese loan, I have to ask him, where is the planning for new roads to accommodate these 4,000 vehicles? Except for him and the Governor General, who have police escorts. The rest of us have to sit in traffic, sometimes for an hour, to get from point A to point B on any given day in Antigua. Every hour is no rush hour. We need new routes and better roads, not only to accommodate the delegates to the upcoming SIDS conference, but for those of us who struggle here 365 days a year. Madam Speaker, my challenges to the 2024 budget, they're far from finished, but because of time, I have to cut them short. But before I sit, Madam Speaker, I want the member for City East to know that we are far from satisfied with his performance. The Cabinet blamed the APUA technicians and management for the government's failure to deliver on its promise since 2014 to resolve the water situation. But the buck doesn't stop with the employees. The blame rests with the minister and his predecessor, who is now the chairman of the same organization. Can you imagine? The water-starved population is still waiting 2 years now for the mega RO plant at Bethesda to get here and for the other plants to produce at capacity. We want to know when APUA will create a proper water schedule, delivering water and managing the valves that direct water to the various communities. We want to know when APUA will stock up on materials and parts will be important. We want to know when funding APUA and stocking the necessary parts will be as important to the City East Minister and MP as maintaining the Alpha Nero is to the City West MP. In the meantime, Madam Speaker, homeowners and business people are tired of the ongoing power outages that affect their appliances and decrease their productivity. Climate experts reported last week that 2023 was the hottest year on record. Everybody had to run their AC and fans day and night for relief because Granny couldn't bathe and Papa couldn't keep cool. Well, 2024 looks more of the same. And so the people need relief from their high electricity bills, especially since APUA now have to pay 50% of their profits into the consolidated fund, and those monies have to be recouped somehow. Therefore, Madam Speaker, and I trust that you want to know, Madam Speaker, You want to know when the multi-million-dollar solar energy farm at Bethesda and the airport will be coming online to give them a break. Mr. Minister of Public Utilities, tell us when we are going to receive the batteries for those solar farms. And Thursday is not a far time from now. Please tell us in your press conference. Madam Speaker, I have to touch this, but I want to say to my constituents, you know the work that I've been doing. You know what is happening down there. You have seen my work. And you are witnessing presently the transformation of the Morris Bay into a beach park. The rest of the constituency, the plans that I have for you in 2024, you will see them. And I will continue to advocate to the authorities that the All Saints East and St. Luke constituency is also a part of Antigua and Barbuda. Madam Speaker, I just want to reassure my constituents that the highest level of representation is what I will continue to give to you. I will leave it there for now, Madam Speaker, and pass the baton to my colleagues to carry this relay forward. May it please you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you.